Zillow was just the tip of the iceberg. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome into the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. As always, before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought and hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome back in. Man, it's coming up for air already. This is insanity what we're seeing in the real estate market. And like I've said before, and I'll continue to say it as I sound the alarm and try to protect as many people as possible, putting so many people on the sidelines, I believe we're in we are. But I've been saying it for so long, I'm going to say it again. We are in the biggest real estate bubble ever recorded in history. And it's insane to me to see people continue to just go out and buy homes and overpay to do it. It's insanity. It's like, I don't know what else to do or say. It's insane for me to see people desperate to buy in a real estate bubble. But I lived through the last bubble. I even lost a home in the last bubble. So it's no shock to me, I guess, now that I think about it, because I was one of them in the last bubble. And that's the only reason I'm here with you today as a salesman, as an active realtor, as a landlord, as a property owner in one of the most euphoric Southern California markets in our nation. And I've always said this, I have such a huge issue with this is now globalized. This pandemic caused everything, and it's almost like the government is purposely trying to collapse our economy the way they've handled this. And the more concerning part about it is many, if not all, big governments around the world are doing the same thing. It's almost like they're working together to collapse economies so they can try to create some new global, I don't know, different conversation, different channel. Dan over at I Allegedly, jump over, check out him. He's reporting this stuff from the most beautiful places that we have to offer here in Southern California. But my job is to go ahead and continue to sound the alarm with the real estate market. And Zillow made a very, very big move. I know I've been very hard on Zillow, and I'll continue to be hard on Zillow because I think they operated unethically. I think they withheld much information from the public, try to manipulate the markets to continue to sell houses. And it clearly backfired on them. But what's more concerning is the way they pulled out of the market, the way they just abruptly, it's not like they just kind of change their model or, they straight up laid off 25% of their workforce, which is tons and tons of employees, and suspended all house buying. But that wasn't enough. They went ahead and packaged up all the homes they had and sold them off at a loss. And that, my friends, is massive. And I'm going to tell you exactly the temperature check, the smell test that I'm getting from this move. And we've already seen what it's done to Redfin, Open Door. They now are all on the verge of collapse as well. Their stocks have tanked. Consumer confidence is in the toilet with those companies. Coming up for air again. So folks, listen, what we're seeing now is Zillow absolutely knows what's going on. And folks, I hope you do too. The real estate market is about to take a massive shift, a massive, massive shift. A cool down has already occurred, but because the cool down is just a slight cooling, nobody, well, at least the masses that are still have their blinders on and refuse to take a look are just uneducated. There's really no fault to I don't fault the people out there continuing to buy at the height. I just know they don't know any better because like I said, I was one of them. Back in the last bubble, I bought at the height, pretty close. And I remember a couple people now in retrospect warning me, but I had made up my mind and I wasn't listening to them. Because once you start on a shopping spree, you know how hard it is to stop. Once you've made up your mind, you're spending money, you're spending money. And that's what we're seeing out there. Unfortunately, for many people that came in with those minimum down payments, when this economy turns and they're underneath huge house payments, that's when I'm going to probably get a lot of calls to list properties. And I've said that since the beginning. We will go from a complete buyer's market to a seller's market to a complete buyer's market. That is coming. Make no mistake about it. It's just the way the real estate cycles. But you add a global health pandemic to the mix with inflation going through the roof and economy is starting to fold all over the globe. Man, folks, like this is some serious stuff right now. So my thought is right now is that Zillow saw the writing on the wall. Like I've said it before, they want to go back to just being cute, fuzzy Zillow, giving Z-estimates and Z-estimates on what projected real estate values are, even though we all know all they can do is base it on area and recent sales. They don't know if properties, what condition it's in. Their algorithms don't tell them that. But they do give a pretty good ballpark range of values. And they were great for that. I even used them for that. Even as a real estate agent, sometimes I'd lean on Zillow to go ahead and just pull up some property values really quick, especially if it was outside of my area where I work, where it's a little harder for me to be able to check that. I can rely on other areas that their multiple listing service that Zillow has access to that maybe I don't, and I can go ahead and pull values. If I'm trying to help a seller or buyer buy in one county or state and relocate to another, I can kind of give them a snapshot of what we can do here to make sure we get them handled. So Zillow now has gone ahead and basically they're just out. They are out and they will be lucky. They will be lucky, in my opinion, to even survive this. Once you've tarnished your reputation, it is really hard to recover from that. So it's going to be interesting to see how Zillow is actually, how they're going to come through this. Because listen, it's really easy when you're growing, but when you're shrinking back and you're throwing stuff overboard, laying off workers and bleeding profits and stock values going in the tank, that's not a good sign. We're probably going to see some other companies rise up and take their places. This is a bad situation. So we're seeing Redfin and Open Door now having the same issues. I'm telling you, folks, they're going to tank as well. We're going to see them tap out of this this home flipping model that they had is not going to work for them. They are out. So folks, in final thoughts, today I come to you as a real estate agent, as a friend, as an influencer, as a content creator, many things, and just really continue to sound the alarm and warn you, please proceed with caution right now. I know it's been hard because the buyer euphoria is very infectious. We want to try to get out there and get a piece of that too. And it's so dangerous to come in at the top of the market and spend all, if not most, your money to do it. It's a recipe for disaster. I'll continue to remind my viewers, please start to adopt the idea of it's not as important to own where you live, it's just important to own something, investment properties. That's the path to wealth. That's what's going to buy you free time. That's what's ultimately going to be able to get you out of your 9-to-5 job. But it's not going to start with you getting under a huge payment for your primary home and staying tied to that asset forever and then having to start over if and when this economy turns and you're now dragging a depreciated asset along for the ride that's worth less than you paid for it, and you ultimately have to go give it back to the bank. They don't want that. You don't want that. I don't want that. So stay tuned. We're going to continue to heat map it. I'm going to sound the alarm. I'm going to do my best for you. If you appreciate the content, I humbly ask you, just give it a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below, go make it count. I'll see you on the next